Well, our meeting was sort of productive. Um, Actually, kind of really some exciting things are going to be going on, hopefully within our school district, since we do have the new Heritage High School. Um, there was some good information that we talked about. A lot of it was just kind of tossing around ideas, looking at what happens now that we have two campuses. We all want the best what's for our students. Um, where do they need their placement is the most important. So our agenda is how will our job coaching program look like? How are students divided up among both high schools? Do we have two job coaches or do we have one? What about our budget needs? Do we have the budget to be able to um, add personnel, add staff, add maybe even another certified teacher on a campus? Maybe there's even a traveling um, teacher that goes. We did discuss in length that the how the high school students' needs are being met right now. Our diagnostician Dee Widener did discuss some students that weren't returning to the district. Um, we talked about, how will the students be divided up? Whether divided up between behavioral issues, their functioning level, whether they're severe and profound. Um, are there students that are higher functioning enough that will take a couple of electives and maybe work half of a day? And then we have some that are, again, are on the autism spectrum um, within that population. But then again, within that population of autism spectrum is how are those students divided up and where are they placed? So again, to me, looking at each student on an individual basis is very important, but also it's very important because we want to make sure that um, the vision that the parents see for their student is somehow put into play um, before their students graduate. But also, what is that student going to do when they do graduate but are actually going to age out with our district? Now, aging out is a whole nother, kind of like I hate to say monster, but it's a whole nother issue that needs to be discussed within our district. Um, we do have our Navarro program where our teacher is on campus in the mornings. The Navarro program is where our students go to classes um, at our junior college here in Midlothian, but then they also work a half a day. If they don't work, then the parent needs to be available to come pick that student up, or that student gets picked up by a day hub facility and goes there half a day. What does transportation look like? Transportation seems to be a huge issue due to school funding or actually our school budget. I know the price of diesel will go up. Having been a bus driver myself and job coach, you can easily spend $5,000 to $6,000 to pay a job coach fuel per school year. Okay, right now we have to make sure that our budget allows enough money. Also, we have to make sure that that budget has some money in it for new students that come to the district that would have to be transported and to and from school and to and from their job. So, um, some of the issues we kind of knew where we were going with that. The other issues, meeting for just 45 minutes to an hour nowhere begins to solve some of these issues that we have. Um, if our budget doesn't look like that, we're going to be able to separate our higher functioning at work and our medical needs students. To me, our budget is going to drive every single decision and every topic that was discussed in this meeting. So there are some things that are very frustrating to me in the meeting is because um, why are we even having this discussion if we know that there is not enough money in our budget to be able to warrant us to even discuss it? To me, we're kind of um, jumping the gun on this. You know, some of the changes that I would like to see is that let's get all of our information about future budgeting aspects before we even start any discussions about what we would like to do. You can sit here and discuss everything that you like to do, but in order to implement it, we have to be able to have the money to be able to see those goals met and to meet the needs of our students. Diversity plays another huge part in where we need to put our students and where our money goes. Um, our students range again from behavioral to severe medical needs, all the way up to a really high functioning autism level. So those are huge ranges that um, we have to be able to staff for those also. Some of the information that was kind of a surprise to me was um, maybe some of the other students that we thought were coming back to our district or not. Maybe some students have moved. Some students that I thought would be able to move up into my classroom and be job coached have moved. So those are some of the surprises. The other surprise to me was that, again, why are we having the meeting when we really don't even have the funds or the manpower to have a separate job coach at the new high school and an extra para? One other area we did not discuss was the new high school. Even if we had one para go to both high schools, somehow we would need to have a para educator be able to stay on site with a student while the job coach drove the bus and went and checked on other students. So it's very hard when you're the job coach and you have to drive. So again, we didn't get to discuss this, but our job coaching program almost needs just its own bus driver. So the job coach can actually job coach. Um, oh, as a school administrator, um, some of the practices I would change before I would call a meeting about this is I think that I would probably come to the meeting with some budget information. I would want to be able to give them more clarity if they were getting more money. Maybe they weren't. Maybe we were going to have to pull a para from the high school to go back to an elementary school. Therefore, we would be shorting some students the opportunities to be able to work off campus with the help of a paraeducator. So budget, to me, drives every single aspect of this meeting. We can sit and talk, but really before we come to the meeting, I think that we should have had more on the budget. Is our special education budget going up? Where is this money being funded to? How's it split up? Is it more towards teacher pay, which I assume it is? Are we able to hire another para? Can we hire that other job coach? Where's the money coming from? Those are different things. I know that in the past, federal dollars have been cut to school districts. So to me, until those federal dollars are given back to the school districts, I don't see where the money's going to come from unless there's another bond or property taxes go up. That's, again, has to go to a vote. So we're kind of, again, I really feel like we're kind of jumping the gun on this. But my experience as an administrator, again, would be first to come to the meeting with some definites on how the money is going to be. So that is what I would do in the future. Again, with for my plan for the meeting would be uh, maybe go to the accounting director, maybe go to the director of special ed and say, where can we get more money to expand our program for job coaching? Where can we get more money to hire a teacher, to hire a paraeducator? Um, what are some programs that maybe some of the budget could be cut just a little bit here and there in order to afford another para, to hire another job coach, to be able to add more money to our fuel budget for school buses. So if this did come up again, those are some areas that I would come to the table with or come to the meeting about. Money, 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 money. And unfortunately, money is going to drive every aspect of a school and every aspect of a school program. Can grants be written? Can we just directly go to the school board and ask for more money? Maybe there's a fund of extra money we need to ask accounting about. Maybe they have a excess pot of money that we could go to and say, can you pull from that extra budget money and put it over so that we may do this, this, and this. So those are some things that I would do totally different. A meeting takes up a lot of people's time. When you have to actually meet in person, we didn't even get into the full discussion in order to collaborate on every aspect that we wanted to reach. And we were there 45 minutes to an hour. So I would probably get other people in the director of special ed, maybe a couple more of the principals involved in the discussion, maybe even have a committee of the future needs of our high school program, and how we all want it to look. Maybe those other people that would join our committee would be able to bring in some new ideas. Maybe we need to hire a grant writer where the grant writer only writes grants for special education budget money. Maybe we need to write our Congress people. Maybe we need to, find some advocates that on the federal level for us to get more money. Maybe we need to talk to our state representatives about the special education umbrella and the funding that the state of Texas receives. There's a lot involved in this meeting. I would suggest probably forming a committee that's bigger than what the four of us had today. And just because we're the ones who are active participants with those students on a daily basis. I would like to hear some information from maybe others on a committee directly that are taxpayers, someone from accounting, a school board member. Maybe a school board member has some other ideas, and maybe a couple of principals, and also, of course, parents. An action committee would be probably the best way that we're going to find out what needs to be addressed first. Maybe we visit some other campuses. Maybe we go and visit other high schools that we hear about that have new areas that they're developing for their students to grow and learn from. Our ultimate goal is for them to be totally independent, or to be as independent as possible, whether it be working a full-time job, part-time job, living at home, living in their own apartment, or living in a group home. But we're basically here for the positive outcome for our students, and that's the way I look at it. Is we want our students to have the best education, the best opportunities to learn, and to me, we need to be able to provide that. If we can't afford that, great. If we can't, we need to start looking at different ways that we can fund the help and the staff that we need in order for all of our special ed students to be successful. So, my feeling was a little bit of frustration. You probably could see that a little bit in the video. I kind of came to the point in the meeting where I was really kind of like, well, why are we here when we don't even have the budget? Why didn't we even uh, go to the director of special ed, or again go to accounting and call a separate meeting before? Let's talk about the budget before we start looking at the different programs that we want to change up or have additions to. So that's really the way I would look at it. That would also be part of my action plan, would be to look directly at those budgets. So it was a great meeting. It really gave us some different information. It let me know upcoming students. It let us look at our spreadsheet of what type of students are coming up and the needs that we need to be addressing in the future to meet the needs of our students and for them to be successful out in the community and live as independently as possible.